morning and welcome to the breakfast show on Faith FM with Skafy and Elliot. This is the best place to start your day with positive and uplifting thoughts.
You're listening right across Australia on 87.6, 87.8 or 88 depending on where you are, or you can listen to us through our Faith FM app wherever you are in the world.
And if you're listening live, today is Monday the 4th of May.
That's right.
This is a very interesting date. May the 4th be with you. But I like the Bible version better.
What's the Bible version?
No, the Bible version is actually even more accurate. It's May the 4th be with you. Because you know how today is like Star Wars Day? Like May the 4th be with you. Actually, I was running a half marathon yesterday. I'm going to talk about that. It's my gratitude. Ooh. But there's one sign saying, May the course be with you.
Really?
Yeah, just going to give a shout out to random people that attend those events holding up the most funny, hilarious signs to like motivate people. Yeah. I love that. I'll tell you a bit more about that. But today is May the 4th, and the 4th that I am mentioning here is the fourth man in the furnace of fire. In Daniel chapter 3, the three friends of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they are sent to this furnace of fire.
Yeah.
And then King Nebuchadnezzar is looking at it and saying, hey, why am I seeing a fourth person with them?
Yeah.
That looks like the Son of God.
Yeah, that's such an awesome story.
So may the fourth person be with you in the furnace of fire. May Jesus be with you.
Amen.
So that's, I think, absolutely the best version of today. So today is a Daniel 3 day.
I'll be honest, I actually haven't heard that before until now. So that's cool. I like it because I'm used to hearing, May the 4th, Star Wars, but it's even better. May the fourth man of the fire be with you today. That's cool.
All right. So my gratitude today, Elliot, is, I ran a half marathon yesterday. The first time in my entire life. Yes.
Wow. How was it?
It was painful. Very painful.
Oh man, that doesn't sound
the spirit was willing, but the flesh is weak. I've learned that in the hard way. I don't think I was thoroughly prepared for that half marathon, but I pushed through. I made it. I was hoping to complete the course in under 2 hours and 30 minutes.
And
my watch told me that I did it in 2 hours and 29 minutes.
Oh man, well done.
That's good, but at the same time, I am walking like an absolute stiff robot today. And if I see stairs, for example, I start saying, oh no, here we go again. Hopefully I'll be better in the next couple of days if with proper rest. But no, I'm great. I'm grateful. And definitely say, look, I need to train more for the next ones.
Which just makes me think, like a couple of days ago, we reported on the first guy to ever run a sub 2 hour marathon, which you've just done half a marathon, 2 hours 29.
So the guy is faster than twice as fast as me,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
and it
cannot
also
even imagine that.
Like, imagine the pain that he must have been in. Maybe he wasn't even in any. Who knows? But
yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if these super professional guys, if they, maybe it's a different kind of pain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, they'd still be in pain.
You'd think so. You'd I've seen stuff where it's like people do ultra marathons and stuff, and then like their toenails are all starting to fall off and
destroyed.
Man, it is not enticing to me. I can say that much. It doesn't really convince me to be like, yeah, let's go run a marathon. It's kind of does the opposite actually, but. Well done. Well done.
Thank you very much. And in today's show, we're going to be talking about how to be the salt of the earth. What does it mean? We're going to start that with a story from the life of Elisha. And in our 7 o'clock segment, we're going to be talking about how a hacker has discovered how to track every police officer in Australia from a 400-meter radius.
Whoa.
And that's a big problem, and we're going to be looking into that today.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
And we're going to have the first quiz question of the day. So if you want to answer the question, you're more than welcome to. So, Producer Shell, what is the quiz question?
We are going to stick to theme today.
Stick to theme?
Yes, so May the 4th. So
Yeah,
we're going to
nice.
have a May the 4th kind of a
Very
quiz
cool.
today.
Very
So we'll start
cool.
off with the obvious. Which 3 young men were thrown into a fiery furnace only for Jesus to appear as a fourth figure walking with them in the fire?
Okay.
Which three young men were thrown into a fiery furnace only for Jesus to appear as a fourth figure walking with them in the fire?
If you're paying attention to the previous 5 minutes of the show, you will have received the answer
that's
to
right.
the question.
Do we have to spell them correctly is the real
No,
question.
you do not. You can use the nicknames for them as well if you want to.
True.
And you
Yeah.
can do the Hebrew names or the
Oh,
Babylonian names.
okay, there you go.
Or the Australian names as well. I will go with the Australian ones.
There you go. Well done. Our phone number here.
Australian names.
Our phone number here is 0491 064 669, 0491 064 669. That question again, which three young men were thrown into a fiery furnace only for Jesus to appear as a fourth figure walking with them in that fire?
Very good. Thank you very much. It's a great question. Hey, Elliot, did you know that for you to translate and to launch a new translation of the Bible, it has to be at least 10% different from all the other translations that exist?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, obviously. Otherwise, you cannot just do like the New Elliot translation and you just copy and paste the New King James and change one word and want to market it as a brand new translation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I can
there
see
is, it's an arbitrary number, this 10%. And I think that it can also cause some problems in the sense that, I'm going to change just for the sake of being changed, of being different.
Yeah.
But if I have a tip for you. If you're looking to get a new translation, I know how to do one translation that would be 10% different from the other translations. It's the New Australian Translation.
Okay.
And in the New Australian, what do? You just change all the names. You put in all the nicknames.
Yeah.
For example, King David will be King Davo.
King Davo.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
You get Aussie slangs there, and you say mate, and so on. And I think you get the 10% easy like that.
Yeah, that would be very entertaining, I think, to read in Australian.
Yeah. There have been similar attempts actually in the past. I know that in Portuguese, I don't know if it was a Portuguese original translation or if it was an English translation, but they had like the Skater's Bible. And basically they translated the entire Bible, but only using like skate figures of speech, like from the skate world.
That's correct.
And like surfing world, kinds of like.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to read.
Yeah.
I'd be, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not necessarily my cup of tea.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate
I
it
mean,
would be.
if you're saying Jesus saying, hey, dude, come on, these kinds of things, it can be a bit strange.
Yeah. Hey,
but it has
man,
been done in the
just
past.
Just cast your net on the other side of the boat, dude.
Hey, bro. Yeah.
That'd be so funny, man. Oh, that's awesome. There you go. Just make an Australian Bible. It'll fit.
Yeah. Imagine Peter sees all of the multitude of fish that he's catching and says, dude, that's sick, bro.
Yo, dude, the net's breaking, man. We need some help over here. Dude, that'd be awesome.
I don't know. Has been done in the past. All right. Hey, Elliot, what are you grateful for, my friend? Because we're talking about marathons and half marathons and everything.
Well,
what about your gratitude?
I'm actually grateful this weekend that I was able to go to Brisbane and I was able to do a concert, which was so awesome.
Oh, yes.
Me and my friends, Callum and Phoebe, we've actually made a new album of Christian music, which is available for people who want to purchase it on Bandcamp, because there's a whole thing of Spotify being really terrible for musicians. But
right.
We've made this album and we did a free concert where if anyone wanted to come along and listen to the whole album being performed, they could. And it was so awesome. Like, we had a really nice turnout of, I think it may be around 100, 150 people, which was so awesome. And it was just a huge blessing. And we had some of the students from Brisbane Adventist College. They did some performances before us. Like, they had two items that they did, and then we sang our album. It was awesome. It was such a lovely time.
So do you sing in your album as well, or just play?
I do on a couple of songs, but I'm playing on
You're
all of them.
primarily
Primarily piano.
playing
Yeah.
the piano
Yeah.
in all of the songs, and in some songs you also jump in. So can you play the piano and sing at the same time?
I can, but it is a lot more tricky than just playing the piano, because sometimes, like, one of the songs that we sing is this version we've done of Blessed Assurance. But it has this rhythm that I'm playing that to try and sing on top of playing that rhythm is like, it's like patting your head and rubbing your belly kind of thing. It's just tricky, very tricky to wrap your head around.
Imagine that.
So, but it was such a fun thing to do over the weekend and such a huge blessing for me personally. So,
well,
it was awesome.
I have an encouragement for you that was drawn directly from some of the paperboard signs in my race yesterday. Keep chasing your dreams.
Oh man, that's awesome!
I
want to know who these people are that write these kind of signs.
I don't know, man, but it was funny.
Hilarious.
One of my favorite ones, they were people with like the the Super Mario mushrooms, and they say tap here for power. So you go there and you give it a tap to their board, and you felt like a little boost of power.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Power up. You just need a power up sound
So man,
effect.
people made it like a whole half-day event out of encouraging people running, and there were like spectators throughout the entire length of the course, like 21.1 kilometer.
Yeah, wow.
And they're like people just cheering up for others.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is actually so awesome.
But I'll tell you another one of my favorites. There's one lady that wrote down, "My housemate is faster than yours." Probably their housemate was running the marathon. And I'm wondering if someone knew that I was there, because in my name tag I wrote down Skafy.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm wondering if someone could go there and say, "My radio host is faster than yours."
That would be funny.
Oh, dear. All right, let's get into our Bible study today. Are you ready?
Yeah,
So
I'm ready.
we're going to open it in another really interesting story here, super interesting story, in 2 Kings, around verse 20.
Which chapter?
Verse 2, chapter 2.
Okay.
So we are going to start in verse 19, please.
Okie dokie. It says here, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 19. Then the men of the city said to Elisha, "Please notice the situation of this city is pleasant, as my Lord sees, but the water is bad and the ground barren." And he said, "Bring me a new bowl and put salt in it." So they brought it to him. Then he went out to the source of the water and cast in the salt there and said, "Thus says the Lord, I have healed this water. From it there shall be no more death or barrenness." So the water remains healed to this day, according to the word of Elisha, which he spoke.
Okay, that's the story.
That's really interesting.
Simple story, but I think there's a lot to unpack here.
All right, let's do some unpacking.
All right, so just as a reminder, what happened here, Elisha was in Jericho. The elders of the town came to him, and they said, "Excuse me, sir, you can see that the city is nice, it's pleasant, it's beautiful, there's a lot going on for us, but we're having an issue with the water.
Yeah, okay.
The water is bad, we can't drink it, and the land is unfruitful, meaning we cannot use this water for irrigation, it's just not working."
Yeah, which would be very difficult. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, like if you've got a water supply that you can't use, where are you going to get your water from?
Yeah.
And where are you going to use it to make crops and stuff if it's saying that it's not doing that? That's making it pretty difficult.
It is. And there is a double meaning as well here. One, it says here, the water is bad and the land is unfruitful. You can also translate that as the land is barren, meaning the ladies here in our land are not conceiving.
Ah, okay.
So there's something in the water that is affecting the fertility of the people.
Whoa, that is actually really interesting.
It's an interesting thing as well.
Yeah.
I think we kind of borrowed that example when we say, hey, there's, when a lot of ladies get pregnant and they all either work together or live together or have something in common, and they say, hey, there must be something in the water.
Yeah, true. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah. So we don't know. I mean, this verse is ambiguous enough for us to say, hey, are they talking about the women, or is he talking about the actual soil?
Yeah, that's
of the
interesting.
land
That's super
in
interesting.
Jericho. But this is their problem. This is the problem. They brought it to the prophet, and then he ordered them to bring 2 objects. What were these objects? Do you remember?
A new bowl
A new bowl.
and
yes.
some salt.
A new bowl or a new jar and some salt. And they did bring that to him. And then he basically just threw that salt on the water. And then
Yeah.
the water was healed. And it is healed to this day, the Bible says.
Which is awesome.
Fix the problem for good.
Yeah. How cool is that?
So my question for you is, why do you think, that he needed to use a new bowl or a new jar instead of just a regular, ordinary one out there?
That is actually a great question. Why the new bowl
Yeah,
instead
have
of
you
just
thought
a
about
regular one? I actually, to be honest, I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one because these signs that a lot of these miracles, actually, I would even say this, all of the miracles of God, they are at the same time an actual physical miracle, but they're also a parable. They're also a
Okay.
sign. So much so when you go to the Gospels, you see that very clearly. The word that the Gospels use for miracles, Mark, Luke, and Matthew, is different from the word that John uses for miracles.
Interesting.
Mark, Luke, and Matthew uses the word energeion, works
Okay.
of power, works of might. That's what the word is, like energy, like it's like divine energy.
okay,
kind
yeah.
of come from that energeion, like works of power.
Yeah.
Whereas with John, miracles are called signs,
Wow. Okay, that's fascinating.
and I think in Greek it's semeion.
Yeah. Okay.
Signs. And by signs is meaning like symbol. So Jesus is healing a blind person, but at the same time, everything in John has a spiritual meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Jesus in John is quite mystical, not in the bad way of the word, but mystical in the sense that everything that he's saying kind of has double meaning. He goes to Nicodemus and says, you need to be born again.
Yeah.
Like a spiritual meaning. What do you mean I have to be born again? Or Jesus says, unless you eat from my flesh and drink of my blood, you cannot see
Yeah.
the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
So all of the miracles that Jesus has done, John points out and says, hey, just focus not only in the power of Jesus itself, that's awesome and amazing, but Jesus didn't do these miracles at random, and I didn't choose to report these miracles at random. All of these miracles, they share a powerful truth behind them that
That's
apply
so
to everyone.
cool. That is so cool. I actually really like that.
And you wouldn't expect differently, right? Because Jesus is the master teacher.
Yeah.
So obviously everything that he would do, he would not only benefit the people that are being immediately benefited from that miracle, but also those who were watching him and beholding. Jesus is using those stories as examples for us for other things.
Yeah. That's so awesome that God is able to do that kind of thing,
Yeah.
That in his intelligence, in his divine wisdom, he's able to perform miracles, but also have a meaning behind it.
Yeah.
A spiritual meaning behind it.
Everything was intentional. That there's not one word that Jesus said that was careless, for example,
Yeah,
or it's not
that's
intentional,
so cool.
or it's not provide us today, living 2,000 years later from a completely different cultural background, relevant for us.
Yeah. How, like, that in itself, I reckon, is such good evidence to suggest that God is actually God.
Yeah.
The fact that he can do that, like say something 2,000 years ago that is just as relevant today as it was back then, and just as like revealing and interesting, and it's not like boring old information.
Yeah.
Which is so awesome.
Yeah. And it's not only relevant for you and us, because you can say, yeah, of course, you grew up in a Judeo-Christian culture with Judeo-Christian values and so on, in the West, whatnot. But hey, it's not only us that are thinking that the Bible is absolutely relevant to our lives and God's word speaking to our soul. You get like a Kalahari Bushman in Namibia. They will be reading the Bible and being impressed the same.
Yeah.
You get a Inuit Eskimo in northern Canada. They're going to be touched by in the same way.
Yeah.
You get like people from absolutely, Sentinel Islands. They're one of the only, the last places on earth where the gospel hasn't yet reached. The moment that the gospel reached that island, guess what? Their lives are going to be transformed.
Yeah.
The same way that it has been transformed in Papua New Guinea, for example, when the headhunting tribes decided, hey, we'll stop
Yeah.
headhunting.
Which is so amazing. Like, doesn't matter what ethnicity, doesn't matter where you are in the world, who you are, how old you are, whether you're male, female, that does not matter. The Bible applies to everyone. God's words are applicable to everyone, which is so awesome.
And that's what we're going to be exploring in our second segment of this Bible study. What is the meaning? What is the spiritual meaning behind this miracle of the new bowl with the salt?
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
And it is time for the answer to our first quiz question and then also our second question. So, Producer Shell, what was the answer to the first question?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah, I said Shaddy, Meshy, and Beto.
Oh, I've never heard those. I know the VeggieTales version, which is Rack, Shack, and Benny.
Oh, that's a good one as well.
That's my
bit
favorite.
American.
That's my
actually.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben is so American.
Which actually, here's an
I think in
interesting-
Australia it should be Benno.
Yeah, true. Benno.
But there's no N there.
It's just
Abednego.
It's just it's
Abednego,
bed,
yeah.
It'd be Bedno.
Yeah.
true.
I like Beto better. Beto. Yeah, talk to Beto there, mate.
Yeah, here's a fun fact. Apparently, VeggieTales at one point was more popular than Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is actually so incredible.
Crazy. Yeah, amazing.
I remember I heard that, I was like, whoa, that is awesome that, a Christian child's, like, kids movies and all that kind of stuff was actually more successful and more famous than Disney was.
That's
It's
very
like,
cool.
whoa. So, yeah, there you go. If you got kids and you want to show them something other than Disney, give them VeggieTales.
All right, our next quiz question. Which 3 disciples witnessed Jesus raise a young girl back to life? They were the only 3 disciples allowed into the room with Jesus. And this was Jairus' daughter. Which 3 disciples were allowed in the room to witness Jesus raise a young girl back to life? And then they were not allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
We've got a correct
Okay, got that
answer
one.
from Skafy. Well done. 0491-064-669. We're still writing out. We've got correct answer coming through from Elliot
2 out
as
of 3.
well.
2 out of 3.
Who's this third person? Let me think.
Well done. So which 3 disciples witnessed Jesus raise a young girl back to life? 0491-064-669 for you to text in and play along with us.
Okay. Very nice. All right. We are going to look into the idea then of why a new bowl. So the new stuff in the Bible is associated with something that has never been used before and something that has been consecrated to God from the beginning.
Okay.
I'll give you some examples of that so you understand.
Okay.
For example, when the Philistines were sending an I'm sorry apology offering back to God for having stolen the Ark of the Covenant
Yeah.
in the book of Judges, what do? They take 2 cows that have never been used for anything, that have never been used to with a yoke, for example, or to carry anything. They got these 2 brand new cows to lead and to tow the cart that was going to send the Ark of the Covenant. When David, for example, when they were going to transport the Ark of the Covenant from Shiloh to Jerusalem, where it was going to be more permanently, they also used a brand new cart that has never been used before.
Yeah, interesting.
When you see in the book of Deuteronomy, it says there, if you had just built a brand new house and you haven't consecrated it to God yet, you were dispensed, you were exempt from military service. You did not need to go to war or to the battle with Israel.
Interesting.
So there is this idea of something brand new, of something that is consecrated to God.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
cool.
give me something that has never been used to anything like that, and it's going to have just one very special purpose, which is it's going to be used in the service of the Lord.
Yeah.
So that's the symbolism of new in the bowl. And that would apply to us, because even though we have used our limbs and our words and our mind before to commit sin and to do the works of darkness, once we are born again in Christ, the Bible says that we are new creation.
Yeah.
We're new creatures. Now we have been washed, we have been freshed, and now we are fully consecrated to use our bodies as instruments of righteousness, and instruments of peace, of justice, of love, etc., etc., etc. So, for the new bowl is also a symbolism. Also represents a new creation, a Christian that has been born again. Again, this is another expression of something fresh, brand new, to be born again.
Yeah. Fresh birth.
How fresh can you be? How fresher can you be?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Be born again. So that's the symbolism there.
Yeah.
And then the symbolism of the salt is even deeper than that.
Okay, tell me about it.
So look, Jesus, you might remember that Jesus says, you are, to his disciples, the salt of
the earth. Yeah.
Salt of the earth. So salt of the earth is something that we should carry as our identity. Jesus said we are this, therefore we are.
Yeah.
This is who we are. We are the salt of the earth. But when you look at the Bible, the different things where salt was used, you see that the salt was a very versatile material.
Yeah.
So first, salt was used to give taste to things, just similar to what we do today.
Yeah.
To season.
Yeah. And how good is that as well? You know?
So good.
It's great.
Salt is the ambassador of flavor. It's amazing how it transforms a bland food into something amazing and delicious.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, for example, you see here in Job chapter 6, verse 6. Can something tasteless be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? So Job, which is one of the first book ever written in the Bible, a book that is telling a story about the times of, between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that time period there of the patriarchs, they already were using salt for tasting things.
Yeah.
And in what way do you think that this applies metaphorically to the life or the mission of a Christian?
Well, I think if we're called to be the salt of the earth, and in regards to like salt makes things taste better, then I think if people see us as Christians, they want it to for us to appear as attractive and tasty and satisfying, why is it that they look like they're just enjoying life way more than I might be, perhaps, it's the saltiness of us as Christians is, in other words, the attractiveness of our lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking at us and saying, wow, these people are very enjoyable and they're enjoying themselves. But more than that, I would say we are also supposed to make other people's lives more enjoyable.
Yeah,
by alleviating their suffering, by restoring the joy, just being great friends, people that help to restore other people's, the flavor of people's lives.
Yeah. That's so true. And I remember my brother, actually, he went to this course, this thing called Arise, which is like a Bible school discipleship program. Mm-hmm. And he came back with a bunch of other people. And I remember interacting with my brother after he'd come back. And I was like, whoa, he seems like a completely different person in all the best ways possible. And that made me go, man, I want to have the same experience that he's having. I want to have the same, what he's going through, where he's enjoying life. He's loving spending time in the Bible and all the things that he's doing. I was like, man, I want to have the same experience that he's having. And so that aspect of seeing him and all his friends, all the people that went to that course with him, they came back, they were working for my church. And I was like, man, I want to be like these guys. And I think that's the point of, being the salt of the earth, is while it also helped me to enjoy life more, because I was like, man, this is so cool. I can have fun just hanging out with these guys. We not even necessarily doing anything, but it's just fun to be with them. Mm-hmm. But also it's making me want to have that experience with God that these guys were having. And that's, I think, so cool that God, tells us, you are the salt of the earth, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great example. Thanks for sharing that one. Another example of salt in the Bible we see this in the book of Leviticus, which with every grain offering that you would offer to God, you couldn't just offer the grain offering. You had to add salt first. You have to season it with salt first. And then you presented your offering to God.
Interesting.
And it says here in Leviticus chapter 2, verse 13, every grain offering of yours, moreover, you shall season with salt, so that the salt of the covenant of your God shall not be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. So you see that we read this interesting expression, the salt of the covenant.
Yeah.
And we see this expression repeated a few times in the Bible. And the idea here of salt is representing something that is perpetual, something that is stable, something that is eternal, something that doesn't change.
Okay. That's cool.
And salt is representing that. Cool. So again, I think for us as Christians, that salt, being the salt, means that in the same way that God is trustworthy and faithful, we are also trustworthy and faithful.
Yeah.
People can actually count on a Christian. Imagine people say, look, I have a Christian friend. If they said something, they're going to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
There is that element of, hey, being constant and steadfast.
Yeah.
The salt of the covenant. There's one funny, interesting application here for salt. I want to see what you make of it. In Judges chapter 9, verse 45. So salt in the Bible was also used as an instrument of war.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me how.
In Judges 9:45, it says that Abimelech fought against a certain city. He captured the city, killed the people who were in the city. Then he razed the city and sowed it with salt. He basically conquered the city, destroyed the city, and whatever was leftovers, he would spread salt on top of everything.
Interesting.
Why do you think was that?
I've actually got no idea.
Is to make the land barren.
Right. Okay.
So if you throw in lots of salt on a planting pot, for example,
yeah,
nothing's going to grow there.
It'll just kill everything.
It's going to kill everything. It's going to dehydrate everything.
Interesting.
Too salty. So people would sow the fields of their enemies with lots of salt just to cause a certain land to become barren.
Wow.
And so that they would never be able to reoccupy that land again.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. But that kind of makes sense, If it's too salty, it's like not enough water, It won't work. That's actually really interesting. I think I heard once, and if anyone's listening that is a farmer and deals with cows, you can correct me, but I heard that apparently another thing is cows will often have salt blocks that they will lick, which then makes them thirsty so that they go and drink water. Mm-hmm. I think that could be a really cool application of if we're called to be the salt of the earth, make people thirsty for the
100%.
living water.
Love it.
Which is cool.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
And I think there's an application here because the Christian life is not only to bless others, but we are in a spiritual warfare against the principalities and powers of darkness.
Yeah.
And we are also called to make Satan's work unfruitful and barren.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, that's really cool. I like
So
that.
not only there to bless people, but we're also there as a force to prevent bad things from happening.
Yeah.
Isn't that an interesting thing?
I have actually never even thought of it that way. That's really cool.
So God called you and me to not only bless people, but also to prevent bad things from happening.
Yeah.
To do good and also to prevent evil, which are not the same thing.
That's true.
But they are
not the same
complementary
thing.
things.
That's super, super awesome.
That element
really
of
that
protection
point.
is there.
Yeah, wow, that's so fascinating. I love it.
So when Elisha then uses a new vessel, a new jar, a new bowl with salt in it to heal the waters, and again, in the Bible, waters are also symbolic for peoples, many peoples. What God is doing here symbolically is not only healing the waters for the city of Jericho, but he's also making a parable of how God intends to use his church and his people. Whoa. We are like that bowl, and not only the bowl, we are like that bowl with salt. We're a simple thing unassuming, but using the right context with God's blessings, we are able to heal, to save, to prevent evil, and to really be a blessing in all possible ways, to bring joy, bring life to other people.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is actually so, I love that image of like, yeah, the fresh new bowl with this salt that's like representing us, that we might be dispersed among the people, that big body of bad water, be dispersed into the people that we might make it better.
Yeah, make them fruitful again.
That's so
Have
cool.
them be fruitful. Isn't that amazing? So
That
when
is
Jesus
amazing.
says, be you the salt of the earth, I think that the disciples were thinking about, hey, what about Elisha using salt? But this is the thing. I don't think that the salt itself had any chemical properties to cause that water, the source of that water, to be good again.
Yeah.
It was a miracle.
Yeah.
But this is how God does miracles. He uses natural things, unassuming things, weak things, normal things, regular things, everyday things like you and I.
Yeah.
But then through his supernatural power, he blesses that and he makes those things become more than they actually are.
That's so, I love that. That is so awesome. Like, how cool that we serve a God that can do that.
Yeah. And Jesus says, oh, you're like that salt.
I love
Like an
that.
everyday thing, but that can be used for amazing purposes naturally and sometimes supernaturally.
Yeah.
So that you can become even more than conquerors. This is what the Bible says. In Jesus, we are more than conquerors. What do you mean more than conquerors? We have, we haven't conquered any fortified cities. But at the same time, the Bible says, but greater than someone that conquers cities is someone that conquers a soul.
Yeah,
To
there
God.
you
And
go.
that's how we can become more than conquerors. This is being the salt of the earth for you. This is how incredible and high the calling for our life is. I do not know if anybody can offer any calling higher and more noble than that one.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
And we have a giveaway for you who are listening. We've been talking about the story of Elisha and how he threw salt onto this bad water that then made it good. And we were talking about how we are called to be the salt of the earth. Jesus calls us to be the salt. But if you want to learn how to better be that salt, how to better have that relationship with God, how to be better, how to ask more from God and daring to ask more, then we have a fantastic book for you, which is Daring to Ask for More by Melody Mason. So if you would like a free copy of this, you can send us the code word #ask. That's just #ask to 0491 064 669 for this amazing book all about, prayer and how we can better be, servants of God and minister for Him.
Love it. That is great. Let's get the answer to the quiz question. Please, producer Shell.
The three disciples which Jesus took with him when he raised Jairus' daughter were Peter, James, and John. Those are the
Yes.
three that
Okay.
are usually always singled out as the ones that he would take to do special things with.
Yeah.
I said Pete, Jamie, and Jono.
Oh, you're trying to be more Australian
Yeah,
today.
the
it seems.
new Australian version.
New
Yeah.
Australian Bible version. I love it. Peter,
Peter.
Pete, Jamie, Jono.
Jono.
I love it.
These three it's actually, there's an interesting thing about these three disciples. Jesus among the 12, it looks like there's like a smaller group of the three where Jesus invested just a little bit more,
Yeah, interesting.
because a lot of some miracles Jesus did in the presence of these three particular men
Yeah.
and no one else. So you see, for example, that story of the resurrection of the daughter of Jairus. But for example, when Jesus went up to the Mount of Transfiguration in Mount Tabor, he also
Yeah.
took with him just Peter, James, and John. So there's a few passages where,
Yeah, there's several of them.
where
Yeah,
Peter,
these,
James,
these
and John
guys were
like
singled out as
Yeah.
as the special leaders, I guess, of the group.
Yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Jesus was dedicating a little bit more time for them, which also caused the other disciples to quarrel about who's the greatest, and feeling a little bit jealous for that. And I think that Jesus was also using that an opportunity to test, to eliciting them those desires so that Jesus could correct them and say, you know who's the greatest among you? The greatest among you is actually the one that makes himself a servant of all the others.
Yeah.
That's how you can be the greatest.
That's so cool.
Awesome. What's still to come in the show?
So still to come, we've been looking at a massive security flaw that is affecting every single police officer in Australia.
Whoa.
That was discovered by a hacker. He's trying to get it corrected, but apparently the police is not really interested in changing that. So we're going to find out what that is. We're also going to have a conversation with Justin Lawman today. He's back with us.
Oh, awesome.
And we are going to be talking about the economic chokehold that America is giving to Iran.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.